got that. Thanks. Welcome everybody.
Evening.
That's this podcast.
Or morning, depending on when you're listening to it.
That's a very good point. I mean, it's released at 6 a.m. in the morning. Very consistently. Mooshi's got his ice cream. Different one this week. What are you having today then, Moosh?
Today, it's a chocolate fudge brownie cornetto sort of style.
Oh, holy shit.
Well,
very
nice.
I've just got a whiskey. Anyway, I feel like we should mention the unfortunate events of Sunday.
We
need to go into it.
No,
yeah, I know.
I think it's probably been talked about 1,000 times by now by everyone. We'll just say commiserations. It was a good shot. We did quite well to get where we got to.
I completely agree. Yeah, c'est la vie. I like that. And yeah, people don't exactly come here for news and sports reports, but valiant effort, boys.
If
good
they did,
job.
They would be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, wouldn't they just?
Yeah.
Well, while you've got a mouthful of ice cream, I say we move on and actually say what this week's episode is roughly about. Can anybody guess?
My hand?
It's on a treble clef.
It's not the first time. Yeah, I think we're carrying on about the music, aren't we? We started this last season.
End of last season.
Yeah, had a little break. We were going to do it last week, but we thought, why not? We want to have a catch up after having a bit of time off. So here we are, continuing.
Yeah, well, I mean, just so fucking much happened in that 3 weeks. I mean,
didn't it, Joe?
Yeah, but watching back over, I was just like, Jesus Christ, a lot really did fucking happen. Yeah,
I mean, it was a busy 3 weeks, not just from a personal level, but in the world generally.
Yeah, I mean, it's been just as interesting now, though, isn't it? This last week, what have we got? We've got Branson. Yeah.
Well, he seems to have won the space race for the moment amongst Bezos and Musk, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know Bezos. How do you...
Bezos? Yeah, it might be Bezos.
I'm pretty sure it's Bezos.
Yeah, it's a silly name, but we could just call him Jeff.
Good old Jeffrey. I actually, he stepped down from being CEO of Amazon, hasn't he? Considering he created it.
Has he?
Do you think he just... Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I heard that in the news. Oh, I saw it on the news on Facebook. So how true that is.
Yeah. I mean, he was probably sick of earning all of that money. I know I would be. Stop paying me.
Well, I've always wondered how that works because he founded the company. He's been the CEO for, 30 years? How long's Amazon been going? About 30 years, something like that?
Probably quite a long time, yeah.
Well, I remember when my first experiences of the internet were eBay and Amazon were the two main players, weren't they? And they still are. They're still the most consistent websites. Amazon is a fucking force to be reckoned with now in comparison to eBay. But yeah, so I've heard he stood down. So I've always wondered. I assume he's got a massive a massive stake in the shares, so he'll still be absolutely raking money in.
I would imagine so.
I like leaving a pause when I see you take a big bite of ice cream.
You what, sorry?
I like leaving a pause when I know you've just taken a big bite of your ice cream.
What? Making me talk?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I imagine he would still be on the board of directors or whatever. He would still have quite a large say in the shares and everything like that, like a large portion of the shares.
Yeah.
He's certainly, even if he's certainly not going to go without, is he?
No.
I mean,
Christ, he can't go without. He's got like most of the world's money.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was pointed out that to end world hunger or world poverty or something like that, it would cost like a certain amount of money, and he's got about 6 times that amount of money.
Fuck's sake, that's way too much, isn't it?
Yeah, when you get to that point, you're just being a prick, really.
Well, I heard that the profits he made during COVID Mark 1, that would be the lockdown from March to August, was it?
Yeah.
Ish, last year. The profits he made during that, he could have given every one of his staff, which is quite a lot, £100,000, dollars, sorry, not pounds, and not lost a penny. Could you imagine? That is just that's just too much money, I think.
Yeah, it's far too much. Nobody needs that much money.
No, but I think we've said it before on here that it should be like you get to £1 billion and then you get given, like a gold statue or something. Congratulations, and then the rest goes to your country or whatever.
You've completed life. Well done.
Yeah, well done. You are part of the 1%.
Or you can give all your money away, go for a new game plus, and start again.
Prestige, and next time you get a diamond statue.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I instantly went off on a tangent there. Branson, space. Yeah. I'm really surprised that Musk didn't get up there before him, considering that he's designing rockets and, he's super interested in going there. But Branson obviously did it he's got a plane, hasn't he, that goes into a really low orbit as opposed to a spaceship that goes right up. Yeah,
basically. I think it's 53 miles up this plane goes.
Bloody hell.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of angry flat earthers out there now. Now that people can actually go up without being an astronaut and see the curvature of the Earth and everything. Yeah.
Fucking flat
Earth. That's awkward, isn't it?
I mean, I thought flat Earth had sort of died, and I still keep seeing videos of people who believe that the Earth is flat with the stupidest of reasons. I'm just like,
I mean,
go to an ocean.
I'm starting to get to the point now where I think we should take the internet away for a bit. Because
and just turn it off for a week.
It's not doing anyone any favors. Everyone suddenly thinks they're like experts on everything. They see one thing and they're just so fucking thick that they're just like, oh, this is it. I mean, at least on this, we admit that
we don't know anything.
And it's quite possibly bollocks, But some people they'll literally read something saying like, apples cure cancer and make you immortal. Oh, that's it. All I'm ever eating is apples. And they'll actively tell people that that's the case. That's the truth because they've seen it on fucking Facebook or something.
I know how that works. They hear that saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And then it goes through their filter, which sounds like an old 90s modem. We all know the noise. And it comes out as like, apples make you immortal. Of course. What else is there?
This is it. Fucking what we've got nonsense. With the internet is we've got an infinite source of information and knowledge. Yeah. What we don't have as a human race is the ability to process that knowledge sensibly. There's a few
monitor it.
Yeah, there's a few people that do, that can sort facts from fiction, but generally, a lot of these people are just, they'll read something and they'll think that's it, that's the truth. It's a dangerous thing. So yeah, switch it off for a week. But I think Elon Musk, I think Elon Musk's gone a bit celebrity just recently, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, because he's constantly going on Joe Rogan's podcast, which are, oh my God, they're always brilliant to watch. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, I don't know if you watch any because they're quite long. And obviously he's on Spotify now and he's come off of YouTube, so it's a bit harder to actually watch him. But I think he's been on there 3 times now. And the first time, his shares, because he smoked some weed on his podcast, I say smoked, he did that, like, oh yeah, I'll have a drag. It doesn't do anything to me. No, I'm immortal. It doesn't do anything. His shares dropped by like 3 points, but then the next day, which says so much about Joe Rogan's audience, they went up like twice as many. So if they dropped 4, they went up like 8, for instance. And it's just like, if all of his audience are a bunch of potheads, they're just like, oh yeah, I'll get round to that. And they just did it the day after. I just got to fill this form in. A donut. And then they finished the podcast. They're like, oh yeah, I was going to buy shares in this guy.
Born procrastinators.
Yeah, but he's such an interesting personality, and because I love Musk. I don't care what people have negative to say about him. I genuinely think there's only a handful of players in this world, in our lifetime, I should say, that are going to have truly massive impacts upon our lives. So Steve Jobs with the iPhone.
Yeah.
Undeniably, that technology is facilitating so much. iPads, iPods, just touchscreen phones in general. He came up with it. He was the first to get it to market. Admittedly, he's dead now, but his legacy lives on in the fact that 90% of the world have a smartphone now. Bravo. Yeah. And then you got Elon Musk, who's constantly doing crazy shit, like the tunnels.
Oh yeah, the high-speed tunnels going from one place to another.
It's like the Tenacious D song, isn't it? With the tube technology. Get the scientists working on the tube technology. And like it's brilliant. Why not?
Yeah, but this is what I like about him. He's an innovator. He's he's not afraid to, like so many people would think, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you could do this? Whereas he's like, wouldn't it be cool if you could do this? How can we make it happen? And he's willing to put his money into it. Yeah. Like he built a flamethrower just for the fuck of it.
Oh, that was genius. That was like a marketing thing, because he's got his boring company. I think it's like a play on word. It's like boring as in I'm boring through the earth, and it's boring because the nature of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did something. It was like to show profits, and he's like, I can make something massive, and I can sell it at a smaller margin. It'll make that, or I can make something really small, the flamethrower, make a small number of units of it, clear it out instantly, and then bish bash bosh, I've also made X amount of money. I don't think it was deliberately to go into the manufacture of flamethrowers, because
Oh no, because he wouldn't sell it to the military or anything like that, would he? It wasn't like a military application. It was literally
just for Joe
like,
Public.
I'm going to build a flamethrower. Yeah, but for American home defense.
Oh, God. I mean, it's fucking cool looking though. Have you seen it?
Shit, yeah. It looks like something out of Mass Effect or something like that.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of flamethrowers. I've always thought they just look like an accident waiting to happen. And plus, it's a cruel way to do any kind of warfare. Fire, not into it. Bad.
No, and you got to feel sorry for the guys, like especially World War II, when they're like tramping up the beaches. Like, hang on, everyone's shooting at me, and I've got a fucking tank of fuel on my back. Whose idea was this? That guy's got body armor. I've got a fucking tank of fuel. This is Alex.
I've got a petrol, bottle of petrol on me there. It's not cool.
Oh look, I've just exploded. Who saw that coming? Yeah.
Yeah, fucking crazy. Those old ones were ropey as well. But again, I was just surprised that he didn't make it into space first. Where Branson's just a very savvy businessman, isn't he? When you think about it, okay, so he's got trains, planes. He hasn't got cars, but cars are notoriously difficult to make money from. So what's it?
But he's kind of been quiet, hasn't he? Like, in compared to Musk and Jeff, he's been
Jeffrey. Oh, he's our friend.
Yeah, he's kind of been quiet. He's like had his head down. He's just been like grafting on with it, like trying to make it work. If you know what I mean. I've not heard a lot about him in the past few years, Branson. I just assumed he was off living on his island.
Oh, well, I heard a little bit about him in COVID, that this fucking billionaire didn't have enough money to pay his staff, so he applied for the fucking furlough scheme.
Who, Branson did?
Yes, he did, the cheeky fucker. He also, and remember, he also leaked that footage of when Corbyn sat on the floor in the train because there were no seats available. But there were seats, they were just pre-booked, and he didn't have a booking for one because, it's Corbyn.
Yeah,
a little bit tight, isn't it? I mean, it's all part of his ethos. He's a little bit of a stingy man. Which is no bad thing, being thrifty. I mean, his mum knits his jumpers, doesn't they? Or used to. I mean, if she's still alive, fair play. It's pretty much the only two things I've heard about him in the last year or so. Is that
so it doesn't really surprise me that he was first in the lead. I mean, I thought Jeffrey would have been, personally, although I've not actually seen anything of his space program.
I didn't even know he wanted to go into space, mate. It wouldn't surprise me that he wanted to do satellites, because, I mean, why not? Well, you've got all that money, you may as well have your own branch of satellites up there taking over.
Might as well send something. You might as well have a bit of a presence in space. I'd buy part of the moon. I'd potentially build a little moon base or something like that.
A little moon base.
Yeah, I mean, a moon base would be much cooler than just flying around in space, wouldn't it? You just go up there and live on there for a little while. But
I've read some cool books lately about the moon, actually. But funny you should bring the moon up. But yeah, I've read two, which is, considering before reading those two, I'd read none. It's
it's like 200% increase.
Well, one was called Dead Moon. Can you imagine what happened in that one?
Did the moon die? I mean, not famous. No. It's not really famous for being alive, is it? Is it a zombie thing on the moon? Right.
Well, the premise is there was no room left on Earth, so people used to ship their dead up to the moon and bury them on the moon. so they could, like, you know, for religious people who don't like being cremated and need to be buried, they were like, well, there's loads of room up on the moon. And then a series of unfortunate events happen and the dead come back to life. It's very good, very well put together. Peter Clines, if you're interested, Dead Moon.
Yeah, that sort of thing I have issues with, because you just be like, well, don't go to the moon then.
Yeah.
You know, and the book's over. Yeah, all the dead came to life on the moon, so we stopped going there.
Yeah. Peter Clines is my favourite holiday author. You know those books that you get that you just want to sort of chuck, you read once and you just want to bin after? Yeah, he's probably my favourite of those kind of authors. But neither here nor there.
No, what makes me laugh though is that people have been there's been outrage. There's been a moderate level of outrage about like these billionaires that are racing to go and live in space, and you see so many posts that are just like, oh, you know, when the billionaires are all in like competition to be the first one living in space or moving to space, that the world's fucked. And it's like,
I don't know if that's entirely true.
Well, I saw a post the other day from someone who's married to a member of the control staff at Houston for NASA. And basically he said, like, you'd be a moron if you wanted to go and live in space. Like, the space station at the moment is literally just, it's only able to function because of a team of like hundreds of people back on Earth who are literally problem solving 24 hours a day, and these are ridiculous little problems that need to be solved instantly, otherwise everyone on the ISS will die.
It seems horrible to me, mate. Just radiation, gravity, everything about it just seems fucking ghastly.
And the spacewalks, having to do maintenance in space wearing those enormous mittens. I can't plug in a lamp under my bed without actually crawling under the bed and looking what I'm doing. Like, how you're supposed to like turn bolts and stuff like that in space wearing mittens, not mittens, but gloves.
Mittens. Just got even mittens on.
Yeah, but good on him anyway. You know, he managed to do it. He's got
fucking right. I think at his level of wealth, with that 1%, and he's like a new 1%, it's a status thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't hear about the Rothschild going up into space, do you?
No, it makes him slightly cooler, but it also it paves the way for stuff. You know, that it's an iconic thing. You know, like probably about 80 years ago, the Wright brothers decided to put together a set of wings, and they made the first flight, and ever since then, it's been it's just gone leaps and bounds, and it's just been built upon and built upon. This is the first stage of space travel now we're in. From here on out, it's only going to get better. You know, potentially. I'll put 20 years time, we've got commercial space travel.
Well, I feel like the biggest problem with space travel is getting up there, isn't
it? Isn't it just? Yeah.
That's where it takes the majority of the fuel. A lot of these, who wrote Andy Weir's new book? It's called Hail Mary.
Right.
I think I mentioned this before, but recently did that. Fucking great read, by the way. And they go through a lot of the problems of being in space. And I don't want to go into it too much, but at some point they mention one of those space lift things. Yeah. So it's like a lift that goes, it's not, they haven't got one here, but somebody else, I'm not going to say who, has one on their planet. Spoiler alert.
You've done it now. There's no point in me reading that.
Do you know what? It's one of those books it's better to not read. They meet this alien that talks in sort of like organ notes, like wah, 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 wah. And in the audiobook, they play the notes. It was fucking great. It genuinely great. But neither here nor there. But they have one of those space lifts, and Andy Weir's notorious in his books. He did The Martian. He's notorious for getting the science right.
Yeah.
And I've heard people talk about those sort of space lifts before. Comment down below if you know any of the further details, because I don't. Cat. Oh look, here we go. People can see him for a change. There he is. Look, it's Ginger, and he's Aggie. He's notorious for getting that information right on his books.
Yeah. Well, watch this space. You know, I reckon it's not a matter of time before it. Yeah, no pun intended. That was a good little pun as well.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah. So what else has been going on? What else have we had going on then?
Well, we've done the football. Well, we're not going to go. I don't want to go to football. It's just there's too much. It's all people have been talking about forever.
Yeah. I wanted to put a brief mention in of this reporter in Georgia, Lexo Lashavaka, I think it is, something like that.
Now, is that the Pride thing?
Yeah. Was attacked at Pride amongst 50 other journalists who were attacked by protesters, by anti-Pride protesters, right? Now, obviously, the fact that someone's lost their life whilst doing their job is just bollocks. That is despicable. I don't like that at all. Considering he wasn't there with any kind of political agenda, he was literally, that I'm aware of, he was literally there doing his job, taking photos of an event. And they attacked him. But two things really bug me about this.
Okay.
The death aside. One, the fact that people are so bothered about other people's sexuality that they feel they need to attack other people, right? What the fuck has it got to do with anyone? It really winds me up because it's just such a pointless thing to be aggy about. Oh, I don't like that two men bum each other. Well, don't watch them. Just pretend it's not happening. A lot of people do a lot of things that I don't know about. And I'm cool with that because I don't know about it. Just because I'm aware that something exists, I'm not going to get fucking stressed about the fact that some people might do it. It's just a pointless thing. If you're going to protest about something like environmental issues, something that's going to affect you. Don't protest against something that's just none of your fucking business, to be fair.
Yeah.
If you don't like gays, if you don't like homosexual behavior, don't engage in it. That's the way I see it.
Mate, we've been having this conversation at work quite a lot lately about the benefits. If you were to do a checklist of pros and cons of being gay, I reckon the pros way outweigh the cons.
Absolutely.
The fuck?
100%.
Completely outweigh it.
100%.
I mean, also the ecologist being bummed.
Yeah.
Bumming a man.
That's probably
sucking a dick. Not having your dick sucked, though. I reckon I could close my eyes and get over that one. That's not on my con list. But but kissing a man?
Yeah, I think all the physical stuff is the only negatives for me.
Yeah, so I reckon, do you want to hear my theory on this?
Go on.
I reckon I'm going to wait till my nub stops working, then I'm going gay.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, that's what I think. I reckon it'd be fucking great.
Going on dates where both of you want to see like the Avengers or something like that, like
yes, it's like it all spawned off the back of my chicken wing date with Pete at work. Pete, for everyone who's wondering, is the one who showed us his tits in the last episode.
What glorious tits they were. What a wonderful way to prove a point. Thank you very much.
No, that couldn't have worked out better that I had that after ranting about hating that.
And I have to say, good on him for giving us permission to use that. That is very good sport of him.
Yeah, the boy's a ledge. Love him. But yeah, it's off the back of that we've been having this conversation.
Yeah.
I don't get why anybody would protest a fucking pride rally. I'm all for it. Empowerment. Man, if you want to bum another man, you fucking crack on. Who gives a shit? Ladies, go for it. Do what you want.
It's just being miserable for the sake of it. It makes no fucking difference to your life whatsoever. All you're doing is you're trying to stop other people from being happy rather than improve your life, which is a shit thing to do. And this is the second point. This brings me on to the second point. The fact that they're attacking journalists, right? Anyone that's protesting, trying to make a point, if you're attacking the journalists are there to give you coverage, to spread your point to the wider world, be it good press, bad press. They always say there's no such thing as bad press. It gets your message out there.
Agreed.
The only reason you would want to attack a journalist at a protest is if you know the point you're protesting is fucking dog shit.
Agreed. America, man. America.
It's not America, it's Georgia. We're not talking the state of Georgia. We're talking Georgia as in the country between Eastern Europe and Asia.
I thought you meant Georgia, the state.
No, the country.
Well, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's just And it's a shame because although discrimination is illegal over there, you're not, you know, it's against the law to discriminate against people for their sexuality. It is still a very sort of contentious subject, if you know what I mean, over there, because it's, you know, it's so close to Russia, and I think it's been under Russian rule for quite a while, and there's a lot of the old ideas still hanging around. But it's a shame that a country's come this far in changing its opinions of something, and then ends up with something like this happening. It just sucks. That's all I wanted to say on the matter. I just think.
No, I'm glad you brought it up because I might not like turtles, but I love the gays.
I'm quite fond of them as well. You know, having done the job I've done for so long, I've had so little trouble with gay people. You know, I'd work the doors on a gay night any night.
Yeah. Well, I don't work doors, but fuck it, I would as well.
I don't know if that's a bad choice of words. I'd work the doors.
Whose doors, Moosey?
well, wouldn't you like to know? Moving swiftly on.
It's just outrageous, isn't it? People just,
yeah. Well,
it just makes me so sad. Who fucking cares? Do what you got to do. I mean, celebrate the fact that you're gay and happy. What? It's just.
At the end of the day, the more happy people there are in the world, the happier place it will be.
Yeah.
We've got enough bollocks going on at the moment without trying to make other people miserable.
Yeah, well, it's mostly comes down to religion and ignorance, doesn't it?
Normally, yeah.
Well, either way, let's not go on a fucking LGBT crusade. I mean,
yeah, let's not. Should we move on to music?
No, one more thing. You mentioned it earlier, but off screen we were talking. You said something about a Jamaican president.
Oh yeah, just quickly. Yeah, something's. I don't know if you follow Jamaican politics or not.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. Which is why I bring it up, because we didn't get time to talk about it, and I want to know what you had to say.
Well, there's just a little situation developing, and I think it's worthy of sort of keeping note of. Again, it's a bit gloomy, but. A Jamaican president who was ruling in sort of situ because the last election got cancelled for some reason.
Okay, COVID?
I can't remember it might have been something to do with that, but either way, it got cancelled, and so he's carried on ruling, and a lot of people didn't like that.
Okay.
And last week, a group of possibly Colombian militia stormed his house and shot him dead. Like literally riddled him with bullets in what has to be a targeted attack, and they've all been caught. And I'm just, there's not a lot more to this story, but it's well worth keeping an eye on, because
that's like something out of a movie.
It really is, yeah. Because there's loads of questions like, where was his bodyguards? None of his bodyguards got shot. How was there 24 of these Colombian guys? Why Colombian? I don't know. I'm assuming they're trying to make a political play or something. But it's all very strange, and it may well be worth watching, because there's something going on there. Because the Colombian government are just like, no, they're not Colombian. And meanwhile, all these 24 guys are just in police custody speaking Colombian to each other. The government's just like, nah, they're not us.
I'm fucking blown away, Mushu. I didn't know. I follow quite a lot of news channels, and I didn't pick up on that one. But I mean, I suppose social media is all about algorithms, isn't it?
Yeah, and the problem is, if you look at the news at the moment, obviously in our country, everyone thinks the bigger news is the football. So that sort of thing doesn't crop up. But that's the sort of thing that I really find interesting, because that is a conspiracy in the making in my eyes. There's more to that going on than sort of meets the eye, I reckon.
Oh my God. Wow. So I'm a little bit speechless, Mushu. I didn't know anything about it. I will be looking into it later, because that's super interesting.
Do. Yeah.
But yeah, I had no idea. I'm really glad I asked. I'm really glad I asked.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
So Mushu.
Hello.
Have you? Yeah. Let's get away from current affairs. I heard another wicked little conspiracy. These praise be to TikTok, if you will, but I keep going down these rabbit holes. Have you heard of Mel's Hole?
No. No, I've got a million comments, but no. For the sake of this, no. Let go on. Enlighten
this
me.
is brilliant. Right, so it's in Ellensburg, Washington. That's all I've got written down. Mel's Hole, Ellenburg, Washington. It's about this guy who bought some land, had a bottomless pit, and people had been using it to throw rubbish in for years and years and years.
Weirdly, I think I am aware of this.
But the weird shit that came over, like the government seized his land. I mean, I don't want to go into it too much. I just wanted to know if you'd heard of it.
I think I vaguely recall. I remember him buying land and having this bottomless pit. It's like a sinkhole, isn't it? And people come around and just dump their shit into it, and it disappears.
No, not a sinkhole. It's a hole.
Oh right, okay. It's an actual hole.
It's a hole. Google Earth. It's blurred out.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't go and visit it or anything like that. Apparently, the government rented it off of this guy Mel for like a ridiculous amount of money every single year, and he moved to Australia to open up a platypus farm or anything. And a lot like, Bob Lazar, I think. A lot of his background has been expunged. There's like nothing relating to him, but there's an old radio show where he talks about it, and there's a few little bits left. Like there's an article about an American who starts a platypus farm, or I think it's platypus, I'm not 100% sure, over in Australia. That's like literally all that's left of him. But there's so many weird things about it. And apparently finds an alien, or they like eventually they lower a sheep down. That's it. Sorry. Originally they lowered a bucket of ice into this hole.
Right.
And the ice came out hot, not melting.
Okay.
And one of those people took some of that ice and put it in his furnace in like Alaska, and it just like burnt forever. And then eventually his cabin burnt down, and the government sort of turned up and took it away. It's fucking brilliant. I can't go. I feel like maybe we could do an entire episode on Mel's Hole, if I'm honest.
It's exactly the sort of thing. But you know what? We might need to do another sort of mysteries sort of episode.
It was so good. I just heard about it. I thought I'd mention it because, I wanted to know if you knew anything about it. But yeah, we're going to have to revisit Mel's Hole. Like, comment down below. If you know anything about Mel's Hole or want us to talk about Mel's Hole, then by all means comment, because I'm not going to go into it now because there's so much about it. But it's fucking brilliant and well worth Googling if you haven't.
I'm going to look into it,
yeah. It is fucking cracking, but yeah, we'll pencil that in for another time because we're meant to be talking about music.
Yes.
And thus far, we've talked about no music at all in standard pacifist podcast form.
Yeah. Should we start talking about music? I mean,
go for it.
What do you want to start with?
What did we do last time? Last time we did like our first albums, didn't we? And DJ requests and shit like that. How about we go? Who would you bring back? We put a post up on our Facebook ages ago. It got like 0 hits. But if you could bring back a dead celebrity for one final gig, who would you bring back?
Right, easy one for me.
Okay.
I've seen him already, but I would want to see him again. Dimebag Darrell.
Pantera
from Pantera, just because to this day I have never heard guitar like that. He was so unique in how he played, his style and everything, and what he did for Pantera. And if he was still making music today, God only knows what it would be like. It would be incredible, I'm sure. But yeah, absolutely, 100% him.
Okay. I know, I like that because Pantera Cemetery Gates is up there in my top 10 albums. I think is that the name of the album, Cemetery Gates, or is that just one of the songs?
That's just one of the songs. I think it's Cowboys from Hell.
It is Cowboys from Hell, and Cemetery Gates is it. What I was wondering if you could clear up. You know the wah 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 bit.
Yeah.
Terrible impression, but that wah 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 bit, is that done on guitar or is that done on something else?
No, it's guitar.
Well, in which case, everything you've said there, I too would quite like to see them.
There's also in that song, there's an incredible bit where he uses his guitar to go off against Phil Anselmo's voice. where Phil Anselmo does the really high pitched scream, like, and then he's like, and they sort of have a little contest against who can go higher and longer, and it's just so good.
That's good. Amazing. He was shot, wasn't he?
He was shot on stage, yeah, with his brother Vinnie Paul as well. Vinnie Paul lived.
He got no press covering.
No, it was one of those things. That the problem is, back when he was shot, heavy metal music was still seen as a very violent type of music, you know, and it was kind of, I always got the feeling there was an impression of like, well, that's what you get sort of thing for playing that sort of music, you know, which is obviously bollocks, but
completely bollocks, isn't it?
Such a tragic thing. I mean, the band itself were going south anyway. I don't know if you know a lot about Pantera's.
History, Cowboys from Hell was pretty much my only exposure to it. I mean, again, it's not my only exposure to them, actually. I had, this is going to show my age a little bit. I had a couple of tapes, like not cassette tapes, VHS tapes of like, I had like a Fat Records one, but when MTV and YouTube didn't exist. So I had like loads of music videos from a load of bands, which never really did anything. I had a Pantera one, a Sublime one, a Metallica live album, because those Metallica live albums were fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were so good. But yeah, so I had a Pantera one, and funnily, it leads into a little story. I've mentioned a friend of mine. Do you remember me mentioning someone with a wizard stick?
Yeah.
He was a really nice friend of mine. He got sort of inadvertently made homeless at 16, and I took him in, and he stayed with us for ages. I lived with him for a few years after that, here and there. Sometimes he'd go elsewhere, I'd go elsewhere, but we came back to live together a few times. We were watching some random shit program with like just a crap boy band, and he made a comment, and he's a very intelligent person, and occasionally he'll make a comment like it's fact, and I'm able to prove him wrong.
The best feeling in the world, that, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is. And he was just like, we'll say it's blue. I mean, it probably wasn't blue, but we'll just say it's them because it's around the right era. And he's like, man, they just live the life, don't they? I mean, they like proper party, and they're just doing absolutely everything amazingly. And I was like, no, they are not. And I went and got my Pantera VHS and I put it in, and I was like, these guys are living the fucking life. And we watched this video, and he's like, yeah, definitely looks like it's more fun. Just definitely like the fucking parties and stuff they got up to.
Oh God, yeah.
I'd be dead. There's no way I could have survived any of the shit they got up to.
No,
way too much.
But then that was a large part of their downfall, because they did Vulgar Display of Power, and then they did Cowboys from Hell. And then the next album, Great Southern Trendkill. Phil Anselmo, the lead singer of the band, didn't actually he wasn't physically in contact with any of the band throughout the whole of that recording of the album. No, because he was so embroiled in his heroin addiction and this sort of thing. He was right across the other side of the country to them. They basically recorded all the music, sent it to him, and he did the vocals for it. Didn't meet any of the band whilst they were recording that album.
Oh God, isn't that what happened with Motley Crue?
Quite possibly. I mean, Motley Crue were a nightmare, weren't they? They used to inject like Jack Daniels into their veins and stuff like that because they're mental.
They were savages. Their book, The Dirt, is quite eye-opening. Yeah, there's again, they did that really cool, I know it's not them, but they did that movie as well of The Dirt. It's like the film version of it. Some of the casting of that, incidentally, wow. It's like a young Ozzy Osbourne.
I was never into Motley Crue, really, music-wise.
I wasn't until I watched that movie, and then I had a solid month of listening to everything. And like, I've heard people mention, which incidentally we'll come on to in a bit if you're up for it. Music that gets you pumped, like gym playlists. The song like Kickstart My Heart, for instance, is one of those ones that when you're really struggling, you put that on and it'll just give you just that little bit of extra fucking energy just to fucking keep going. Like a particularly good one. I can't remember the name of any of the other songs, but yeah, there are some fucking cracking ones on there. But yeah, Heroin. I don't think that's for me.
No, it's too Moorish. Apparently, it's
very Moorish.
Yeah, it's really Moorish.
Yeah, I find a bar of dairy milk pretty Moorish, but I mean, God knows what I'd think about fucking that.
How about you? Like bringing someone back?
It comes down for me. It's always a toss. I always say it's always a toss up between Michael Jackson and Prince, because Prince is incredible. I know they're like proper gay choices. Prince is really incredible.
Yeah.
But in recent years, I've come to realise that a lot of his songs have been covered by other people better.
Yeah.
Not Purple Rain. Purple Rain is still.
He was a very good songwriter. It's got to be said.
Oh, he's amazing on guitar as well.
He's written some bangers, whether he's performed them or not, but he has written some bangers. But we talked about this last time, didn't we, with Sinead O'Connor and everything like that. So.
Yeah, we did. So I don't want to go back into Prince. Michael Jackson, I grew up in the 80s with older sisters who loved him. I loved all of his music up until Earth Song.
Yeah, God. Fuck him. What that is that? What about sunshine?
Yeah. Oh no. And to clarify, I still like that song. I mean, was the last one of his that I liked. I'm a little bit younger than you. You know the. Yeah, I still. What about everything? What about? Yeah, but I still love it.
It's like nails on a chalkboard for me.
It's absolutely fine. You hate it or you want. You don't have to come to this gig.
That's true. Yeah,
so Michael Jackson, but then I'm a massive Queen fan. I would love to see Queen with Freddie Mercury, not with that other guy, who's great. Don't get me wrong. Adam something maybe.
Adam Levine, I think, wasn't it?
Possibly. I mean, he's got an amazing voice. He is incredible.
I saw them at the Isle of Wight Festival.
I didn't see that.
He did incredibly well, like, because they are some big shoes to fill,
aren't they just?
And I think he filled them very, very well. It didn't feel staged. It didn't feel put on. You know, the rest of the band seemed to gel with him. It seemed genuinely quite authentic the way he performed. I quite enjoyed it.
Is it Brian Ferry? Is he the main guitarist? Brian Ferry with the big hair?
Brian Ferry? No.
What's his name then?
Oh, don't do this to me. I know his name. You've just fucking completely thrown me off with Brian Ferry.
I do this almost every week with you, Mushu. Have you noticed?
How have you melted my brain like that? Brian May.
Brian May. Yeah.
I was like Brian Adams. I was like... Brian May, incidentally, do you want to know a fact about Brian May? I don't know.
Always.
You might know this. It's probably common knowledge, but he always plays the same red guitar. Don't know if you've noticed that.
I'm colourblind, so no.
Oh, okay. Never uses a pick.
I didn't know that.
He doesn't use a pick. He uses an American coin.
What coin?
I think it's a nickel.
Fair play.
I think he's always used a nickel to play. So all of those solos he does, all of the times he's played, he uses a nickel.
Wow, he must get through guitar strings like they're going out of fucking fashion.
I would imagine so. I would imagine so. But you know, there's him, all super famous, and here's us, not.
No, undoubtedly.
Who are we to
I
pick
still
holes
think
in his?
Brilliant. So I don't care. I'm going to go to this mystery gig and it's either going to be Michael Jackson or Queen, and I don't care which fucking one it is because I'm going to have a fucking great time regardless. But yeah, one of those for me because.
I mean, you mentioned Sublime earlier. It would be nice to bring the lead singer of Sublime back as well. I can't remember what his name is. But he wouldn't be my first choice.
Something. No, Bradley.
That's it. Yeah.
What his surname is? It's not Cooper. It doesn't fucking matter.
No.
Yeah, Bradley something or another. It would be, and I like Sublime, but of their back catalogue, there's only about 4 songs that I really, really like. That's like Date Rape, Wrong Way, Santeria, and STP.
Yeah. I mean, they are the 4 best songs, but
yeah.
Yeah. I always think like when they sort of talk about bringing people back, I know it's for one last gig, but I always think like if you could bring them back and then and they could carry on making music, or like if they hadn't died and they'd carried on making music, how good that music would be now. If you
okay, well, in that case, I'll pick Queen, because Michael Jackson kept making music after the Dangerous album, and apart from Earth Song, it was pretty weak.
Yeah, including Earth Song, it was. You see what I did there? Whee!
Yeah. Just throwing a bit of shade at me, you fucker.
Slipped it in like a ninja.
Okay. Right, I've got another question. It wasn't on our in our mini production meeting earlier, but most disappointing album. So, you know, an album that you bought off the back of Sparkus, you've got to get off my notes, mate.
Most disappointing.
Most disappointing album.
Well, I'm assuming
to give you a moment
one.
to fix. I do, actually.
Go on.
So I'm going to take you back to college years. The movie Loser comes out, and we just do the song Teenage Dirtbag.
Yeah.
I don't know if you listened to that album, but for me, that was my first example of an album being total and utter dog shit. One good song, and the rest of it was fucking awful. No, that Erasure cover was not a good song, mate.
It was a good song. It was great. It was a really good cover. It's one of my favourite covers.
Yeah, but when you listen to the rest of the album, you're just like, you can't have that as one of your good songs. It's not one of your songs. Teenage Dirtbag, great tune. Absolutely fucking great. The rest of it, garbage.
Yeah, I'll certainly go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's quite an obscure one.
Okay.
I have got a very clear one. It's a band called Finch.
I think I've heard of them.
Their first album, What It Is to Burn, was amazing. Every single song now I just fucking loved, and I could to this day I will listen to that whole album over and over again because it's just
really?
Banging. Every song is just really good. It's really well put together, really well composed. Everything is original. And then they came out with their second album. I was like, fucking, I'm gonna lap this up.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, not one song on there did I like. Like every
That's
song,
rough.
Like, when bands sort of make it and an album blows up and they're like, "Wait, we're coming up with our second album." They choose that moment to go in the direction they really want to go in. If you know what I mean.
Or like when they let a drummer write an album, like Guns N' Roses did. What was that about? I can't even remember what album that was called.
No,
it wasn't Use Your Illusion 1 or 2 or Appetite. It must have been the other one.
Yeah.
It was garbage regardless. It was fucking terrible.
Yeah, but it was like that, and I've never been so disappointed. I stuck it on. I remember going through each song, just like, oh come on, one of these has got to be good. I was like, why? I actually thought they'd changed the singer because he changed his vocal style that much.
That's so rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? As I assume you're like me in that respect, that when a band brings out an album that you really like, a band you really like brings out an album, you listen to it from start to finish. Because that's the journey you're supposed to go on, isn't it? It's like they've put the time into it, and you want to hear. Well, I can't speak for yourself. I want to hear it from start to finish and go on that journey with them.
In the order they put it in,
absolutely. I usually do that twice. Back to back, not necessarily back to back. It depends on time. I usually go through it twice, and then any standout songs I will then listen to more, and I'll usually roll into the next. And then the growers start appearing, and the really shit songs start appearing. Yeah, I fucking hate it when every one of them's bad. I actually say I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but I'm not a massive Muse fan. I don't dislike Muse.
You did mention this, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them way too many times, but I've got a very dear friend of mine. He's a massive Over fan. He likes them way too much. Yeah. I mean, way too much. But he's the best person to go and see them with because he's so enthusiastic. It's catching. I went to Wembley to watch Muse do their Drones album with him and my mum. She's also a really big Muse fan, and my friend mentioned he was going. She was like, "Oh, I really want to go," and She's got a habit of getting me drunk used to. I don't drink with her anymore. She'd get me drunk, and then I'm very, very easily manipulated, shall we say. But anyway, I sent him a message, and I was like, oh, my mum really wants to go. I was just like, if there's any more tickets available, do you think you can? And motherfucker just arranged it. And I now, if I'm doing anything with him, I let him arrange it because he's really fucking good at it. Yeah. But now, when Muse bring out a new album, I'll listen to it and I will give him a review of each song as I'm listening to them. And I'm a way earlier riser than he is. So he'll wake up to like 15 messages from me going through each song from the album, giving my thoughts on it. I'm like, oh, it sounds like them, blah, 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 blah. And I quite like it. And they've never failed to deliver a Muse level album. I have never had like a Wheatus experience with them. Yeah. There's been some that I don't particularly like. And as I say, I like them, but I don't like them that much. A few of their songs are outstanding. And as I say, I've seen them a lot of times. Some of the times it has been really fucking good. But yeah, I do that with him. I always take him with me on that journey when I listen to the new Muse albums. But I haven't done that in a little while. I don't know if they've been making music lately.
Can I ask a question quickly? Again, not fucking on our sheet. Yeah. But you've just reminded me. What's your favourite moment from a concert?
Frank Turner, Reading, 2016. I think it was 2016. It might have been 2018. One of the two. I went so many years and smoked so much weed. I can't quite remember the years. He did this a bit in one of his songs. I really like Frank Turner. He's from Winchester. I know I've mentioned him before. He's really fucking good. He got the whole crowd at the main stage to sit down and stand up at a particular point in the song, and it was just brilliant. I've never seen anything like it. It was sort of stuff. It was so fucking good. Really felt like united with people. And then the other time was when I gave a 15-year-old a joint and told him it was crack. Whilst watching Cypress Hill. That was just funny. I was just smoking it. I just passed it over to this young lad because I had like 20 pre-rolls in my fucking pouch on my jacket, and he just starts smoking it, and he comes over and he's like, "What was that?" I was like, "Crack." Just carried on like hits from the bog, and his face just sank. I was like, "I'm like, that's funny."
Oh no, I'm a junkie. Find a paramedic.
Yeah, they're my two standout memories from festivals. What was yours? Standout moment from a gig?
I think it was when I can't remember who it was. I went to see. It was possibly Download Festival or something like that. Or it could have been one of the old Donington Monsters of Rocks.
Ooh.
When they were still a thing. But Metallica were headlining.
Okay.
And they did their set. And it was fucking awesome. And then Lars Ulrich did his famous long, boring speech at the end, because he always does one at the end of his gigs.
What does he say in long, boring speeches at the end?
Just about his journey through music and what it means to him to be able to sit there and perform in front of everyone. And thanks so much for everyone turning up and all this. And it's kind of like, yeah, we get it. There's a reason he leaves that till the end.
Okay.
And so people were getting up and starting to leave the stadium. There was people, like the gates were open, everyone was sort of moving on. We'd got all our shit together probably a good 20 minutes after the band had finished. And as we were walking towards the gate, there's just this big boom from up on stage, right? And everyone's like, what the fuck? And then you hear machine guns, right? And everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? Then you hear a helicopter, sort of like the noise of a helicopter, like more machine guns, and then you just hear the boom, 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 boom of the opening notes of One by Metallica. And everyone's like, fuck, they're doing an encore, but they left it so long. And then they went on to play One. They all came back on stage and did perform the whole thing, but it was just so good the way they'd done it. Like everyone was on their way out, and then you heard the Vietnam War sounds and all that.
Yeah.
And the moment of confusion, and then just like, no. Oh, this is happening. Oh. And I've never seen it. Was like a wave of people just heading down to the stage. It was great.
That's fucking cool.
I just feel sorry for the people that are really eager to get out, because there's someone in their car. What's all that noise then? Oh well, off to Milton Keynes.
Anybody want to stop at Wimpy on the way home? That's amazing. I love fucking festivals. What's your top festival that you've been to?
Probably one of the Monsters of Rock ones. Yeah. I used to love them. We threw a Welsh guy in a fire one time because you were allowed campfires at one of the ones we went to.
But are you allowed to burn people?
Well, it's frowned upon.
Okay.
It is frowned upon. But he was really, really drunk. And he was going around all of us just saying like, "Oh, come on, do you reckon you could take me on? Do you reckon you could take me on?" So we all just shoved him, and he fell backwards into this fire. It's like, we're like, ugh. I mean, he got up, put himself out, and walked off. But yeah,
he's walking off. He's like, I guess you can take me then.
It looks like you can. Yeah, but no, I used to love those sort of things, and just the random crazies you get. Like fucking blistering heat. You've got everyone wearing their black t-shirts, their leather jackets. I saw one guy in a full suit of armor. I mean, I'm assuming he woke up in the morning thinking, I am going to stand out. I'm going to be on the front cover of Metal Hammer wearing this bad boy. And then like half an hour into the day, he's like slow broiling himself inside this metal suit.
It's a little bit much.
Why the fuck am I like this? But yeah, that's I don't know. I just like any live music, to be honest. I think there's something about it. I've never had any proper trouble. At gigs either.
Me either.
You have little Barneys. Obviously, the mosh pit. I've been punched. I've punched people. I've kicked people. I've been kicked, but never in anger. I've never felt angry about it.
Mosh pit stories. So, do you remember maybe 12 years ago when tailor-made cigarettes were cheap?
Yeah.
Okay. I used to buy some Australian brand fag. I can't remember what they're called. They were like red something. They were in a red packet, believe it or not. And I remember a mosh pit, and the circle pits. They're the worst kind. They're like a fucking vortex. Okay, as a rule, I don't get involved in them. I'm too big. I'll hurt people. If I go down 30 people, nah, it's not, because a lot of my friends that I used to go with are tiny, and a lot of their girlfriends were even more tiny. So when they would open up in front of us, which they always seem to, I would just scoop my arms around them and just pull them back so they didn't get fucking murdered. I got a lot of thank yous for that over the years. Anyway, I was on the edge of one when these girls weren't there. I was seeing a band called Does It Offend You? Yeah? Do you know them?
No.
They did one album. It's sort of like rocky techno stuff. It was great, actually. It was at Reading. And yeah, anyway, so I'm smoking a tailor-made cigarette because it's day one and it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, and everyone's like, oh, what should we do? And I was like, well, I'm off to go see Does It Offend You? Yeah, so don't come, I don't give a fuck. That's where I'm heading to. And they all came along. We were fucking raving it up because it's kind of that kind of music. And then a fucking pit opens up and I'm like, I was not expecting that while smoking my cigarette. And this girl, a girl with a fucking bird's nest of a mop, comes spinning past me and takes the cherry off my fag with her hair. And it's just a little fucking fire just floating off into the fucking distance. And I'm like, you put my fag out. And then I see her hair. And someone pours half a pint of beer over it and put it out. Another reason why I don't get involved in fucking mosh pits.
That's amazing. I can just picture it.
Yeah, and incidentally, I've always smoked rollies since then.
I can't believe
it. I was just like, I took a drag. I just sort of like, I never lower it too much because I'm usually, people's heads are usually up to about here on me, so I just sort of smoke up here. But yeah, I'm a little bit lower at this point, and this just hair just whips the cherry off and just starts a fucking fire in her hair. Oh, it was fucking brilliant. But poor girl. Yeah, apologies if you're listening to this. It wasn't intentional. Your hair merely just did all the work.
I can't believe you're so gentle in pits, though. I mean, the whole point of them is violence. That's what I love about them. Like,
that's not how I roll, mate.
I had quite a big break from going to gigs during which, because I wasn't always sort of like, I'm quite a big lad now, and I wasn't always a big lad. I used to be quite a scrawny little thing. And yeah, that when I started going back to my first gig, when I started going back to gigs, was Slipknot.
Never seen them. And
I've seen them a few times. They're really good. But I was dead looking forward to the pit. I thought it was going to be a great one. And so they've started, obviously, boo. And I'm like, fuck it, let's go. The pit started up. I've gone in there. And as I've sort of dived in, I've realised that they're all kids. you know, I was probably the oldest bloke in there and the biggest guy in there. They're all like
fucking throwing elbows.
It was like the opening scene to the Lord of the Rings, mate. I was just like, just watching bodies go. Ah! I was like, this is fucking great. And then I got told I was too fat to be in the mosh pit. No, I tried to crowd surf, and the security guy pulled me over. He's like, "You're too fat for this. Fucking stop it. Once more, and you're out." I've never been threatened to be kicked out of a gig for being too fat.
Well,
that's well out of order.
I haven't either, but that's because I had the foresight to have realised that I'm too fat to crowd surf, and I will just end up breaking people in the pit. Yeah, I'm just like, no, it's fine. I'll just stay back here. I genuinely, I remember this time we had I went to Reading like 8 years on the trot or something. It was maybe not 8. Oh, fucking, who knows? It's a big haze. I know I did 10 years worth of festivals, and I did Reading a lot. And by an old friend of mine, Zach, his missus at the time, her name was Tilly, tiny little thing. I mean, she probably came up to just above my belly button. And then somebody else was there with her little sister. I can't remember her name. We just called her Little the whole time. And I was already probably 5 or 6 years older than all of my friends. Again, all really fucking tiny little people. And this pit just opened up in front. And I mean, you know how it happens. You're there in a crowd, and you're just like, well, where the fuck did that come from? And yeah, I literally, as I said earlier, they were both stood in front of me, and I was like, no, ladies. And I just put my arms straight around them, and I took 4 steps back. It's just as this pit was just opening up, I was just like, we're not playing in there today, because this girl was like 14 or 15 years old who was with us, and you know, I was probably like 20. Get off, you clawy little fucker. Just fucking clawed me. Yeah, it's yeah, this still girl just felt mildly responsible for her. I don't know where her sister was, but I was like, oh no, we'll keep an eye. And yeah, you're gonna have to fuck off, you ginger prick. Go on, be off of you. Full on attacked. Out fucking rageous. Yeah, and as I say, I just literally scooped her and pulled back, and yeah, I apologise. I was like, look, I'm so sorry. If you wanted to go in there, you're more than welcome to. They were just like, no, it's fine, thank you. Yeah, tiny little fucking things. Yeah, it was bad. But I do miss festivals. They were super fun. But
have you seen those organised mosh pits? You know, when they the bands actually part them, like,
oh yes,
big,
yeah,
open ground. They have sort of like the no man's land, and then they're like, they kick the song off, and they just charge towards each other like something out of Braveheart or something. I mean, that can't be safe, surely.
It must be fun when you're up on stage, though, seeing it happen.
Oh God, yeah. How they don't cringe though, because when they all clash together, you'd be like, oh god, do you see that dude over there? His fucking leg came off or something. Yeah.
Well, I've listened to many a live album over the years, and I think there was like a Guns N' Roses one where Axl Rose was like telling people to fucking move back. They're like, I'm literally watching people being crushed almost to death here. Can you just take a step back? I was like, it's not a lot to ask. And I was like, oh, Axl Rose, you big hillbilly. I thought more of you.
One of my favourite things is when bands stop. They see something in the audience and stop. Like there's some great ones. I mean, Kurt Cobain stopped a 15-year-old girl from getting molested in the crowd. He saw someone groping her. He stopped and he's like, right, get security. That guy there, fucking grab him, get him out of here, and all this. I love all that shit. Trent Reznor proper full-on headlocked someone and carried on singing the song with this guy in a headlock on the floor.
I fucking love Trent Reznor, mate.
Fucking madman. Yeah, he finished the song off as well. He's just lying there with this guy in a headlock just singing.
Mate. 9 Inch Nails, I would love to see them. Now, am I right in thinking that he like co-produced Antichrist Superstar?
Pass.
Marilyn Manson's. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, I'm not going to Google it. I can't be bothered. Yeah, massive fan of Trent Reznor. He's done some of the greatest. Well, he did Hurt, didn't he? He wrote Hurt, and Johnny Cash covered it. Admittedly better, but or more emotionally charged, if you will.
Yeah. I'm quite a big fan of him as well. But yeah, that's what I love. That I love when bands stop what they're doing. To sort of tackle people or whatever.
Amazing,
great.
Yeah. Right. Well, anyway, let's stop talking about festivals. Reminisce about them all fucking day, can't we? Clearly. What teenage music? Go on, Mushi.
Teenage music.
Yeah, what were you listening to as a teenager? And I mean, like a young teenager throughout, because I only asked this question because mine was fucking weird.
Yeah, I was listening to a lot of stuff like Extreme, some of the earlier
Extreme,
bands.
like More Than Words.
Yeah, but
okay.
More Than Words is like one of their gayest songs. Not gayest songs. I should stop saying that. But it's one of their most sort of.
Yeah, as we're particularly LGBT friendly on this channel,
yeah,
we probably should
it
stop
as a derogatory term.
Yeah. What can we call it? Oh, it's one of their most football songs.
It's definitely not football.
No. That song is Turtle.
Yeah, it's kind of a Turtle song. Yeah, it's no, but a lot of their stuff was very rocky, you know, and quite metally. I used to like that. Helloween, that was another band I used to listen to quite a lot.
Yeah.
German band. King's X, I used to like them. There's a lot of weird sort of bands that I used to listen to, and then Megadeth and Metallica, obviously Pantera, that sort of stuff. I was very into my metal. I'd never listen to anything that wasn't metal or metal related.
How old are you at this point?
This would have been anywhere from sort of 8, 9 and right the way up to sort of 21, 22.
Oh, okay. Way past teenagers. Well,
I was very closed off when I was in those sort of formative developmental years. I was literally, it was metal or a variation of metal or nothing.
Did you not go through a pop stage then?
Nope.
Wow. You lucky dog. Mine was awful. So you know how I went to Hogwarts?
With the exception of the Prodigy and Left Field. I used to like the Prodigy and Left Field.
Well, they're both incredible.
Yeah. You having cat issues?
Yeah, he's fucking knocking over all my equipment, isn't he? A friend is visiting with a dog, so I've locked the cat in with me while I do this for his personal comfort, and he's basically just being a total cunt. Normally, the door is open a little bit and he can get out, but I don't want him to be upset because there's a massive, great fucking dog somewhere in the flat. And obviously, I'm a cat person, so I'd rather he be comfortable.
Yeah.
And he does not appreciate it.
He's
if
not
I'm honest.
being appreciative, no.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's already gone for me twice, little cunt. Anyway, moving on. I'm still a cat person regardless. So my teenage years were bad. They were fucking awful. So I listened to pop and used to record shit off of the radio. But when I was about 13 or 14, I went through what I can only describe as a disco phase. I bought the Ultimate Disco Anthems Volume 1 and 2. I bought the second one off the fact that I liked the first one so much. Because I bought this first album because it had the Jackson 5 Can You Feel It song on it. You know the one? Yes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't into the Temperance version of that, the I'm Gonna Drop a Chimney on Her tune, which was out around the same sort of time.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that song, so I bought this album, and that had like 50 fucking songs on it, and I listened to it a lot. And then when I got a little bit of money from like birthday or something, I saw there was a volume 2, and I bought that as well, which introduced me to Boney M.
I mean, that's a bold music choice to sort of grow up with.
Oh, it gets worse.
Can it?
Well, no, it doesn't get worse, but it gets weirder. So then, I'm not even going to go into what I was listening to before that, because that was dreadful. Aside from Michael Jackson and Guns N' Roses. And then I got, I think for my 15th birthday, I got Fat of the Land, Prodigy.
Right, yeah.
So in between listening to disco, I'm listening to Prodigy, Fat of the Land. Absolutely love Prodigy, still do. Absolutely incredible band.
Yep.
And then I was introduced to Marilyn Manson's Antichrist Superstar. So in the space of 2 years, if I was making playlists, it would have a bit of Guns N' Roses, a bit of Boney M, maybe a Car Wash in there somewhere. and then the majority of Antichrist Superstar on there. Beautiful people. I mean, does anybody know the names of any of the songs in that album?
No.
No, because there's like 88 songs on it. I think one of them, not on that album, but I think one of the songs on one of Marilyn Manson's albums is called May Cause Discoloration of Feces. Not his greatest work, if I'm honest. Pretty terrible, actually. But yeah, the Antichrist album.
Maybe asparagus or something. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't really look.
Actually, you say that. There was one band that I've always liked, and they're always a sort of go-back to band, and I still like them. I've got to admit, but they are cheesy AF, right? They are cheesy.
Has me being openly honest about this and saying that I listened to disco and Marilyn Manson in the same time?
It's just kind of reminded. It's just kind of reminded me. I'll admit to it. It's it's a band called Dan Reed Network.
No.
Right. No, they're quite an obscure band, but they are so cheesy.
Okay.
Really, I mean, everything 80s. It's just so 80s. It's painful. Like the noises they use. I mean, the bassist is amazing. He's a slap bassist and stuff like that. But
I like that.
They've got a great song called "The Salt of Joy," and the chorus is like, "Tears fall from tears fall from hopeless eyes. The salt of joy will rise."
Didn't we go into terrible rhyming in songs in the last?
Don't get me started on Des'ree again. Fucking going to the dark, going to the park in the dark. Just stop doing it. Have a piece of toast and avoid the
Have
ghost.
a piece of toast, yeah. Don't go stealing, but just have a piece of toast.
Absolute cretin. Yeah. So
fucking outrageous.
But yeah, if you ever want to hear something outrageously cheesy and so 80s it's painful, if you ever want an 80s soundtrack for anything, look up Dan Reed Network, because they've got it all.
I'm gonna just write that down. Is that Reed REED or READ?
REED.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have a little look at that, because that sounds right up my fucking alley, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I don't proclaim to have any kind of particular music taste anymore. I know what I don't like and I don't listen to, but now pretty much fucking anything goes. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't.
I mean, I've got well into my country music now. I love country and western, even bluegrass. Like when you go beyond country and western, you get to the bluegrass stuff. Just like, which is all banjos and
like our
stuff.
folk music. So basically, you're trying to tell the world you like Mumford and Sons.
No, not like that. Like, this is the American folk music, like hillbilly sort of stuff. Like
where they play the jug.
Yeah, exactly that. Like Steven Seagulls and stuff like that.
Nice.
And to be honest, sometimes to this day, sometimes I will just go on YouTube and type in bluegrass covers and just listen to people doing bluegrass covers of popular songs. Fucking brilliant.
That sounds like a music guilty pleasure, of which I definitely have one.
Go on. What's your guilty pleasure?
Okay, I have a certain penchant for the noise that a piano makes. I love it. I always have. I can't get enough of people doing ragdoll piano covers of songs. I love it. Every time I look it up on YouTube, and I'll lose hours to just people playing rag. It is ragdoll, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I can't. Yeah, it's like really funky and bouncy,
and jazzy sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. But there's some guy, I can't remember the name of this channel, unfortunately, because I just type ragdoll covers, and then it comes up. I can't get enough of it, because it's just songs that you don't expect to hear in like the ragdoll style.
Do you remember that homeless guy that became famous from doing it a little while ago?
Played the piano outside of a music shop?
Yeah, and it was doing loads of current songs just on the piano in that sort of style. Yeah, I saw him a little while ago. He was playing in Ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't think there's enough pianos dotted about for people to play.
I think they should just stick instruments. Like every airport should have one. Every airport should have like a jamming lounge, just with loads of instruments there.
Yeah.
Bookshops? No, not bookshops, because you go in bookshops to read. Cafes, maybe odd cafes here and there. Town squares.
Bars, yeah. Mate. I mean, I know one bar in my local town that has a piano. If you're allowed to play it, I don't fucking know, but I've seen a piano in there. And I'm sure, because the owners of this bar, Steamtown Brewery, Brewhouse, very nice pub, actually, incidentally. They're pretty cool in there. I'm sure if you said, can I tickle those ivories, they would say yes. They get a lot of like, what do they call it when you just turn up and you just play? Like open
mic sort of stuff.
Yeah. They used to do a lot of that before COVID ruined the world. So I'm sure they would just let you. But I don't. You know the Spyglass in Ventnor?
Yeah.
On the Isle of Wight. I don't remember any other pub other than that one that just had a casual piano player. I remember there was this guy. My first job was working there, glass collecting, when I was 13, and this guy just used to come in on like a Friday and a Saturday night just to play in the piano and just play for like 6 hours. He was super good. I think he was a little bit on the spectrum, but his fucking piano skills were out of this world. Super fucking enjoyable.
I mean, it's kind of like even like an old Western piano. There's something about like if I
honky tonk one.
If I walk past a place and I just heard that ding 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 ding, I'd just be like, I'm going in there. I don't care. I don't care that I don't even drink anymore. I'm going in there.
Barkeep, one warm whiskey, please. Thank you very much. In your dirtiest glass.
Two fingers of your finest sipping liquor.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Yeah, no, I'd absolutely love that.
Yeah.
What have I got here? So I'm just crossing off shit. Oh yeah, I said about it earlier when I was talking about Motley Crue, Kickstart Your Hearts.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not a gym bunny, but do you have like motivational playlists, shall we say, like music you listen to when you need to get shit done? Or
I'm not a gym bunny anymore. However, obviously, when I was a member of City London's Finest, I used to have to do regular fitness tests and stuff like that. My training music always had to have at least one song by Fear Factory.
Okay.
And that would be sort of the one that got me pumped, because I don't know if you've listened to a lot of Fear Factory, but it's very industrial, very sort of like robotic sort of.
Yeah.
And for some reason that just got me going. So yeah,
industrial is great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For that kind of thing. Again, I'm about to embarrass myself, Mishu.
No, never.
Yeah, I can't believe it. This is why I always have a couple of whiskeys, by the way.
I just got call on me.
No. So I don't go to the gym. I do go to the gym, actually. I go swimming a lot, but I don't listen to music when I do that for obvious water-based reasons. But when I go to the normal gym, I hate doing it, but I do it to try and make myself better at my job. And I'll go on the treadmill, which, oh God, I hate so fucking much. But I'll do half an hour, 45 minutes on the treadmill at a steep incline at 6 miles an hour, which is way faster than I would normally walk for my working. The idea behind that is to make working easier and to burn a butt ton of calories. It's like walking up a hill at 6 miles an hour. For fuck's sake, I need a rhythm to do that, to maintain it long term, because 6 miles an hour is what normal people run at, but I've got a slightly longer stride than most, so I can still walk it, which to me is fine, because then it's not running, because I'm not running.
Yeah.
And oh God, I found that the song Yes Sir, I Can Boogie Underneath the Setting is the perfect beat for me and my stride to keep up at 6 miles an hour. And it just happened perfectly by accident. It was just, my phone was just shuffling on Apple Music, and that came on, and I was like, oh fucker, dear. That's the perfect, dreadful fucking song. But yeah, that was the perfect song for me to walk at that speed on a fucking treadmill.
I don't know. I've got the worst images now. Do you wear really short shorts when you're in the gym as well?
No, I wear boxing shorts and the worst shoes ever, which I had to throw out because I got shamed by too many people. They kept sending me memes like, you're the cunt if you're wearing these shoes, and it was my shoes. I was just like, it's just a pair of trainers. What does it matter? And then I got shamed so much, and I looked around and was like, yeah, okay, nobody's wearing these. So part of the reason I haven't actually been to the gym is because I don't have any appropriate shoes to wear. I mean, I could just turn up in a pair of walking boots and just be like, yes, sir, I can boogie underneath us.
Maybe a nice knee-high sort of leather boot with a slight heel on it or something might go
well. Disco Sam doesn't need to advertise. I mean, try it, mate. Put it on and try and walk to the beat. It's quite fast.
No, because I don't want to even run the slimmest chance of enjoying it, which I know will happen. I'll put it on and be like, you know what? This is great. This is the only thing that's going to motivate me to keep in shape. Yeah, it's not happening. No,
it wasn't. It's not to motivate. It was just to keep pace. Yeah.
So, but you say you were on like 30 to 45 minutes, so you listen to that on repeat.
Well, no, there were other songs, but the problem is other songs kick in and they got a faster beat. I can't remember because I haven't listened to that playlist in a while. I'm a nightmare. I make a playlist and then I get sick of hearing songs. I just delete ones off, and they were originally there for a reason. I wonder if I've still got my gym playlist. Let me have a quick look.
Dear God.
Yeah, not good. Right, music. I could speed this up at a later date. Do you know what the last song played on my phone was?
No, go on.
Michael Jackson, Liberian Girl. I use this thing called Sam Station, and it's just stuff that I previously listened to. Playlist. I don't even know if I've still got a gym playlist on here because, as I say, all I do is get. Oh, I do. Diane Wood, Enter the Ninja. That's a good one. I Think You Freaky. Diane Wood are really good for the gym. Kanye West, Black Skinhead. Lots of Limp Bizkit. Lots of Rage Against the Machine. Lots of Beastie Boys. Yes, Sir, I Can Boogie by Barakaka. Which is so funny. Which is followed by Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. Azealia Banks 212, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like that.
Very rude song.
Yeah, I mean, have you heard the radio edit of that? They played it on the radio the other day.
What did they say when this cunt getting eaten? What do they say instead of that?
They just cut bits out. She literally says like 3 words in the whole song.
I can't imagine she could say much else. It's super rude.
Getting eaten. It's literally, and because I heard it on the radio first, and I was like, wow, that she doesn't. That's so heavily edited. And then I listened to the unedited version. I was like, oh, that's why it's edited.
I hadn't heard it. Hadn't specifically listened to it in a long time. And then it was mentioned in a series of books I was reading, and I wanted to know the mindset of the character because they were playing this song and then driving a Saxon through zombies, very specifically. Shout out to you, R.R. Hayward, the Ireland writer. And I wanted to hear it. And now I can't listen to that song without picturing that bit of the book, which is fucking beautiful for me. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah, it's like a little gift that. Luckily, my gym playlist isn't all Yes Sir, I Can Boogie. It just so happened to have the exact tempo I needed. I mean, I might have to speak to somebody who knows more about music, probably my brother, and send him that song and be like, send me some songs with this beat, please. So I don't have to
listen to this one.
Yes, sir, I can boogie underneath our setting. While I stomping along. Oh, it's a bad time. Right, you bring up something. I'm just digging massive, stupid holes.
Well, what have we got on the list there? What have we got on the list?
What have I got? Songs that remind you of other people. emotional music, driving tunes, and wasted music.
Now, driving tunes. I like the driving tunes.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time on the road at the moment. I'm doing probably about 250 miles a night at the minute. Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, and it just, especially on an island. Fucking like 64 miles wide or whatever it is.
Bloody hell, mate. You must go everywhere. Every road.
Much. Well, it's 12 hours of pretty much solid driving I'm doing at the minute.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so I listen to a lot of music. It really depends. I've got a real thing for country music at the moment, and there's something about just driving around listening to country songs that I love, especially when the sun's going down. Maybe it's a little bit romantic, driving around, sun setting, listening to some hillbilly tunes, sort of belting it out, shout, singing along and all of that. And it's got to the point where I like it so much, I've forgotten that it might be a bit weird to other people. So I'll go around with my windows down, listening to a bit of Aaron Lewis or Dixie Chicks or something like that. And I'll just be like singing along, and I'll look at people and they're just like, what the fuck are you listening to? So you see it in their eyes, just like, what the fuck is going on? There's me just like, let's turn it down a bit more.
Well, you remember last year I had a convertible, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've just read you out my gym playlist.
Oh, yes, sir. I can boogie. Yeah.
No, that's not for driving. That's for walking at a specific speed.
Yeah, I also like I like foreign music. I don't know why. I think maybe it makes me feel edgy or something like that. But like anything.
Well, like Bollywood.
No. No, like Rammstein.
What German industrial metal?
Iri Revolte.
Oof.
I don't know if you've heard them. They're I think they're a Swiss band, but they switch throughout the songs between French and German.
You've told me about this band before. I couldn't sing along to that, so that's a no for me.
No, but they are very good. Sort of ska-y stroke rap.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know why I like that. I don't know why I like driving around listening to that. Like I say, maybe somewhere in the back of my head, I think it gives me some kind of weird, edgy look. Like, oh, look at that man listening to foreign music. How cultured he must be.
Fucking wanker.
Yeah, generally, yeah. I'm a bit of a cock when it comes to driving around listening to stuff.
I like stuff I can sing along to. That's what I like when I'm driving along in the car. Even if it's me rapping along badly.
Well, who cares? That's what cars are for, isn't it? It makes the journey shorter.
Damn straight. People can't really hear you though, unless you're literally sat in traffic.
Yeah.
By the time someone's clocked you, you're gone.
Yeah, all they're gonna get is yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that'll be it. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's why I always say that I sing when I'm in the car, and that's the only place I feel like I can sing.
Oh man, I give it some fucking welly when I'm in the car. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially at night as well. I must really piss off locals because I proper belt out the tunes at night. And I'm talking like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, just driving around. What have we got on now?
Screaming.
Yeah, a bit of Slipknot. Sing along to that. Yeah.
Oh, you see now that I screamo, I've never really got on with because it's just impossible to sing along to without fucking up your throat.
Well, I used to sing a lot of that sort of stuff.
Your death metal raw.
Yeah, I've got quite a good raw. Or I had quite a good raw before, I smoked for 30 years. And now I think if I tried a death metal raw, I'd probably end up just coughing up a lung and dying.
Yeah. Or I'd probably just meow. Realistically. Yeah, I'd go for it. It's meow.
Yeah.
Oh no, fair enough. The more I've driven, the more I've realised there's certain types of music I can't listen to whilst driving. Rage Against the Machine, for instance, I can't listen to them while I work, and I can't listen to them while I drive because they make me full of rage.
Okay.
So I won't listen to them at work because I was just like, oh, I'm so moody. I don't know why. And I was like, I'm going to stop listening to Rage now. I'm going to listen to something else. Yeah. And yeah, if I'm driving, it puts me in a mindset where I want to drive fast and mildly recklessly. So for years and years and years, I've never listened to Rage Against the Machine. It occasionally might shuffle in, but like a song is fine. But if I'm specifically listening to an album of theirs, I'm like, no.
See, I won't listen to ska punk while I'm driving because it's too bouncy and it makes me want to bounce.
Do that, yeah.
And I do start bouncing around like an excited little child.
I can listen to ska punk and do that. I don't wiggle the wheel even while I'm driving.
I do. It's like the beginning of Playbus. I'm literally just like, yeah.
The Playbus, a nice current reference that is.
Well, that's still on, isn't it? It's still a kiddies program. I don't know.
Some of those kiddie shows were fucking terrible, weren't they?
They were all developed by people on drugs, weren't they? It's all fucking mental.
Or paedophiles, because it was almost all the BBC, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Well, speaking of drugs, you very tenuously bring us into Wasted music.
Oh, yeah. One album.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was Greatest Hits album from Faith No More.
You love Faith No More, don't you?
Yeah, but we used to go through quite a lot of substances when I was younger. And that album always made its way on. That and, as previously mentioned, Left Field, Rhythm and Stealth. It was the... Oh, God.
Not Leftism, then.
It might have been Leftism, actually. It was the song from the Guinness advert, if you remember it, where the waves turned into the horses.
Yeah.
I remember being incredibly stoned up Winchester Hill,
Farley Mount,
and listening to that, and it freaked me out so much. It put me in such a weird place. I just got out the car and ran.
It's a weird song, that, isn't it? That drum, particularly if you've got the speech as well from that Guinness advert, because that's not in the original song, is it?
No, yeah. It didn't. But I still remember to this day, I was listening to it and it almost hypnotized me. It just put me in this really weird spot, and all I could hear was that boom, 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 boom. And then they start adding the different noises, and then my mate was just like, Andy, you're all right? And I was like, I'm off. Just opened the door, fucked off. It took them like 45 minutes to find me, because I was just gone. It just really spammed me out. But no, Faith No More. Oof, so many times. And it was just a go-to between me and my 5 friends who always used to hang out together. We always used to do everything together. And anytime the Substances came out, that album would make it on. To the point where now, if I listen to it, I sort of get little flashbacks here and there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice little treat. I like that.
Yeah. Unless you're in like work or something.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, you don't want like an LSD comeback, do you? Not that I've had one, because I've never done it.
Full on LSD flashback.
Yeah. Oh,
they're coming. Get them away from me.
Okay, stop here. It's bad country.
Yeah. What about yourself?
I don't really have an answer for this one. No. So I used to get high a lot.
Yeah.
But I never really used to listen to a huge amount of music while I was doing it. I am not an advocate in any way, shape, or form of taking any kind of drugs and driving, and I listen to a lot of music while I'm driving, so that's out.
Yep.
I don't consider drinking and music to fit this category. So, I mean, I know it's wasted, but I was more specifically talking about drugs.
Yeah.
And when I've taken anything a little bit harder than weed, it's always in a very specific environment. And yes, I will be listening to music, but it'll be like on YouTube. What we used to do pre-children, that is New Year's Eve, for instance, we might get a little bit of a livener. and we'd obviously all be drinking, and I would connect my tablet up to the telly, have YouTube, and I would just literally pass the tablet around in a big circle, so everybody just queues up songs all night long. And then I'm not specifically listening to anything of my choice. I'm just listening to stuff that other people have put on. So yes, I've got a bunch of songs associated with Wasted Memories, and they're cracking. And and when people get stuck, I'd just shout out a category. I'd be like, right, it's like guilty pleasure round, or songs from your childhood round, and that sort of shit.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that. Make it into a kind of feature.
Yeah, I like that. I love that. That was always my preferred way of taking
that.
drugs.
That being said, I know you said like you don't really associate drink with it, but I have to say we used to regularly have a big burn with Felix.
Good old Felix.
Yeah, where he would basically build a fuck off Gert big bonfire, the biggest thing you've ever seen in your life, and then he'd invite a load of people. Well, maybe not the biggest thing you've ever seen in your life.
But honestly, not to go too much of a side tangent, but have you seen the size of the bonfires they make in Ireland?
No, but but it wasn't. It was big though. Put it that way.
Makes Grenfell look like a fucking sparkler, mate. They are enormous. Anyway, yeah, sorry. They're fucking enormous great things. You've got people drilling pallets together like fucking 200 feet up. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, but we used to go down, and he had this purpose-built fire pit on his land, and it had benches all around it, and we'd always light it somewhere special, like petrol bombs or something like that.
You have mentioned this.
Yeah, and we always used to stick on YouTube and just go onto a channel called Xkito Music. XDITO Music, and it was all sort of chill step and what's the it's like a jazz sort of but mixed. I can't remember what it's called, but like it's sort of like old style jazz music but with new style mixing and beats and stuff like that, and it was just really chilled out sort of music, and that was always quite good. Yeah. To get drunk to, it's a nice background, because it wasn't too dancey, so nobody wanted to get up and dance or anything stupid like that, but it wasn't too, it was sort of perky enough that it wasn't too morose and sort of bring everyone down, if you know what I mean. So
there's nothing worse than when someone like puts more Sheba on or Portishead.
Yeah,
you're like, oh god, do we have to listen to Dummy? Although saying that I don't have any wasted music memories, I do have some very specific memories of listening to Portishead Dummy.
Yeah.
After eating some mushrooms.
Rhodes always used to do it for me.
Oh, what is that? The album, or is that one of the songs on?
No, it's one of the songs on it.
Yeah. What was it? Glory Box, was that one of them?
Yeah, possibly. I mean,
but more roast night that was.
They were definitely one of those bands that, like, they were great and everyone liked them, but you knew as soon as they went on, you're like, oh, there goes the mood, and everyone's sort of like, but nobody wants to turn it off.
Text our exes then.
Yeah.
It's like listening to Adele, isn't it? She's magnificent, but gosh, she brings down the room.
Yeah. Just fucking shoot me.
Yeah. So I don't really have that. I'm going to skip a couple of these because I don't want to talk about them. Have you got any songs that immediately make you happy? I've got two, and they're shit. I mean, they're so shit.
I've got one. One is The Sweat by who's it by? The Supervillains.
Okay.
It's because it starts off sort of quite heavy, and then it just brings in trumpets and goes full on ska, and it's just such a lovely transition. It's whatever mood I'm in, instantly I'll be loving life as soon as that comes on.
Fair play.
And then anything off Metallica S&M.
Okay. They cheer you up?
Yeah. Massively.
So hang on. So you hear anything off of Metallica S&M and it instantly puts a big grin on your face.
Yeah.
You're Cheshire Catting all around the place.
Yeah, because it is beautiful music. I love it.
Okay.
I think the composition of it between, like, you've got a metal band and you've got the San Francisco Philharmonic Orchestra, how they've managed to merge that music so perfectly. I find it impossible not to be just in awe of it, and it really does cheer me up.
The musicians all at the top of their game. I mean, I loved the fact they did that. It was incredible. But yeah,
for me, I don't know if you saw any of the videos from that.
Yeah, I did. I think I had the tape of it.
One image that I just love is when you see the crowd, and like you've got people in full-on tuxedos there that are obviously used to the Philharmonic Orchestra, sitting next to people with ripped denim jeans, leather jackets, and all that. And every single one of them has the same look on their face as they're watching it, of just like pure wow, this is amazing. And I know it's cheesy, but everyone says like, oh, you know, music brings people together. Fuck me, if there's ever an example of that happening, it's that. And that really does cheer me up. Sort of just thinking about that. I love it. Everything about it.
Fair play. Oh, mine are more literal, as in I just hear the song and it just makes me smile. And that's so bad.
Rasputin. No.
I listened to that on Friday.
That doesn't surprise me.
On Friday.
After the conversation we've been having over the past hour and a bit, it doesn't surprise me at all, mate.
No, but you know, I've already said I'm a Boney M fan. No, it's not Boney M, although Boney M Sunny does make me smile. So I've got Len, Steal My Sunshine, because it really reminds me of my sister Jane, and I don't get to see my sister Jane all that often. And every time I hear it, it just puts a little grin on my face. It reminds me of like when I was 13 and she had really young kids and I was staying with my other sister and I'd spend a lot of time with Jane. And it's probably like the only time in my life I spent a really considerable amount of time with that particular sister.
Yeah.
And every time I hear it, it makes me it just makes me chuckle.
Yeah, I mean it's quite an upbeat song as well, to be fair.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's pretty crap. I've listened to it as an adult, and yeah, it's not exactly a lyrical work of art.
Well, they measure fun in miles. Who does that?
And the other one was just a fucking throwback from when I was around that age again. Is Dario's G Sunshine, the hey yeah do
yeah.
But you never hear it. You never hear it anywhere. So when I do very, very rarely hear it, again, it just sort of takes me back to that time when, you know, you're footloose, fancy free, carefree, and everything is all sweet and roses. And yeah, I'll hear it and I'll just be like, yeah, nice. But both garbage. Absolutely terrible.
You should say that. He played at my work a couple of years ago.
Well, Dario G?
Yeah. He did a set, and it was for a specific event. It wasn't during work time, sort of like the place was closed. The venue had been hired out for a thing, and I think it was something like we had a license up until 1 o'clock, and they could not get him to fuck off. He came on stage and he got so into it. He was just gone. He was in the zone, and everyone's like, fuck, he was supposed to be finished like 20 minutes ago. He's still going. And he's like, who's up for another one? And like, we're all just like, no, don't fucking stop. Yeah, would not stop. Just carried on.
Was he like a carnival DJ? Keep all your arms and legs inside the ride at all times. And here's one for the ladies. Yeah,
kind of. I mean, it was great. Don't get me wrong, but when you're trying to organise an event and you've, you know, especially from my point of view, where I've got to think about getting people out of the venue and closed, it's fucking nightmare. He just wouldn't fuck off.
Absolutely amazing.
And he knew, he could see. We're all like, shut. And he's just like, yeah, sort of carry on mixing. Like, I didn't see that guy over there.
Yeah, there's more of us than there are of them. Let's riot. Hey, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, let's dance all night. Oh, fuck it, I'll join him.
You may take our liberty, but you will never take our dance. And here's one for you, Mighty Mushu. Yes, sir, I can boogie.
See you walking around.
Hey, I know that speed. Okay, I got one more, Mushu. One more for you.
Go on.
Okay, just take a nice long think about it. Your number one soundtrack from any movie that you've ever seen. You don't even have to have seen it if you want, but your number one soundtrack.
Judgment Night.
What film's that from?
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen the film. But the Judgment Night is the name of the film.
Oh, okay.
And the soundtrack is incredible. It's because every single song has been specifically made for that. What? Are you laughing about the cat?
Yeah. just casually passing through. They don't give a fuck, do they?
No, it's his fucking domain. Fuck you.
Yeah, latest people. Yeah, sorry. Judgment Night.
Every single song was made specifically for the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and every single song was a crossover between a famous rap band and a famous metal band, which at the time I loved. Like, it's got people like Cypress Hill and Anthrax. I think Faith No More were on it with Run DMC. So there was like proper big names in rap would collaborate with a proper big name in metal to make these songs, and the whole album was just fucking great. I loved it.
That's cool, but isn't that more of a score than a soundtrack? So a score's written for a movie. Changed his mind. He's come back this way now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't a score written for a movie and a soundtrack a series of songs picked for a movie that are paid for?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was getting at.
Okay, go on then. Give me your soundtrack. I'll have a think of mine.
It's a toss-up between The Boat That Rocked, because it's an incredible soundtrack, and the Suicide Squad soundtrack, because again, an incredible soundtrack. Okay. The Boat That Rocked is a genuinely amazing movie, and the Suicide Squad not so much, but it does have a really fucking great soundtrack. I mean, I like it. I think we're in that episode we did where Benny joined us. Yeah, he did point out that the soundtrack doesn't make it a good movie, and I've watched it since, and I was like, oh,
it's fucking right, isn't
he? Yeah, it's just like, motherfucker, I hate that one. It isn't very good. It's just a really good soundtrack with some fancy action in it. Still a great soundtrack though.
Yeah. Okay. In which case, I would say either Layer Cake or Human Traffic.
Oh, Human Traffic's a great one. Yeah, I like that.
I really. I mean, that film it's just my youth. That's like how I grew up, and it's so I watch it and I can watch it to this day, and the music's great. Yeah, the film's great. Yeah, so one of those two, I reckon.
No, fair play. Good answers, and because you answered one with a score as opposed to a soundtrack, I will as well. What would I go for? Probably it'd have to be something by John Williams. I mean, Boogie. That'll do. Boogie Nights. No. Flashdance. Oh. No, I think something by John Williams, I reckon, because he's done some amazing stuff. I mean, I know he rips off a lot of shit and it's all recycled, but
is John Williams the one that does the Star Wars music?
Yeah, he does everything, mate. Like all the good musics, all the good stuff. He's E.T. themes. That's him.
Yeah.
There you go. E.T. Fucking great one. Absolutely brilliant.
Fair enough.
Actually, it really is a brilliant one. Yeah, fuck it. I'll pick that.
Very self-congratulatory, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's the best guess in the world. I am brilliant. What an amazing guess that was by me.
Thanks for pointing it out, mate. Yeah. I feel like we should probably wrap this one up, mate.
Why not?
Unless you've got anything else that you want to bring up.
No, I mean, something will come up, I'm sure.
Cool.
But for the minute, I think we've prattled on about music enough. We need to change it up for next time.
Yeah, definitely. So this was volume 2, wasn't it? In classic Now style.
Now, that's what I call Pacifist Podcast, volume 2. Yeah.
Volume 2. And to address the YouTube comments, the overlay isn't meant to zoom in, but it took me days to work out how to make that happen, like days. And I was running out of time by the time I fixed it, that I didn't actually pre-watch it after I'd edited and put the overlay on. Hopefully that won't happen again, or if it does, I'm going to make it go in and then back out, like
Whoa.
breathing. Yeah, I know, right?
Like breathing really slow.
But yeah, all the usual stuff.
Yeah, all the normal. Like, subscribe, follow, share, blah blah blah. You know the drill.
Blah blah blah. By Armin van Helden. Are we still doing music?
That's a great song as well. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, it truly is. And hopefully we'll talk more about Mel's Hole another time.
Yeah, I'm going to go and look up this. And you need to go and check out some Dan Reed Network.
Yes, I've got it. I've got a note taken.
Right, so we'll catch you next week then. Will we?
Fucking cat. Cheerio, everybody. I've got to go murder him.